Wokeness and identity politics are different things to different people. This is part of the problem, the lack of mutually agreed frameworks and definitions, and indeed realities. Woke has become appropriated by the right as basically a slur. This is quite a feat that something denoting essentially positive, pro-social qualities could become pejorative. The word itself, I think, does not help. It's easier to ridicule and demonize a word such as woke than to attack the words it actually signifies: aware, conscientious, discerning, empathetic. And it's not just on the right. There are traditional leftists who rail against identity politics for dividing the working class and causing the failure of the left. And on the centre, amongst liberals in the mainstream, anti-woke sentiment is on the up. Identity politics is commonly understood as political mobilization around shared identities, often by marginalized groups seeking recognition and rights. This is very true, but it is also somewhat one-sided, because non-marginalized groups also practice identity politics, though it often is not acknowledged as such. After all, there are two sides in every battle. Identity politics has always existed. The difference is that it was less successfully contested in the past than it is nowadays. If those oppressed by power dynamics are unable to contest and fight against their oppression in any sort of meaningful way, then there isn't much of a politics to speak of. As time has gone on and society's progressed, the power and resistance of the oppressed has grown. Identity politics has moved towards becoming more of a balanced fight, though it is still not a fair fight by any means, and so naturally the fighting is more evident. Issues around race, gender, and sexuality become more of a thing. Critics of woke accuse minorities of making them a thing, of launching us into a culture war that presumably marks a division with a more peaceful and united past. But we see it is quite obviously through the historical and ongoing oppression of these identities that an oppressed identity is created in the first place. An identity that will naturally want to resist their oppression, leading to new forms of assertion of that identity in various ways. Critics of identity politics are actually a diverse bunch, but there are worrying similarities and convergences in their arguments. There are liberals emphasizing how everyone should have equal rights and be treated the same, but proposing little immaterial terms that could actually address entrenched inequalities to make this happen. There are traditional leftists saying that the focus on identity divides the working class and is the reason the left is failing, when it's actually far more complex than this. And of course there are right-wingers who argue that special treatment of minorities is disadvantaging everyone else and is somehow to blame for everything going wrong in the world. You can read more about these ideas in my Substack article, which I've linked in the bio,